I'm going to share my progress on my Rio Calina cowl and then talk about what's up next on my needles. So stay tuned. Happy Monday. If you're new to the channel, I'd like to welcome you. And if you're returning, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified of all new episodes when they go up. Also, I would love it if you would follow me on Instagram, and I will put links to wherever you can find me on social media in the description box below. So let's get to the subject at hand. Okay, I have made some progress on my Rio Calina Cowl, which is a cowl and knit along that we're doing in honor of Cat Bordhi. It is a free pattern. I will link below to where you can find the pattern. I am doing it in, what am I doing it in? 3 Irish Girls yarn in the Springvale worsted in the color Magnolia. This is my second skein, so you can tell already I haven't gotten as far as I had hoped. But hopefully this week I will make even more progress, because I know people are interested in seeing how to assemble the cowl and how to sew it together. So let me show you what I have so far. Okay, this is how much I have done, and I'm going to give you a close-up of where I have put my cables. Hopefully the camera will stay in focus so you can get an idea of my sort of freeform cables. And I started down, lower down, with just sort of throwing cables all over. And then sort of now I'm getting into like crossing cables and doing some like of a circular type cabling design. It's super, super fun. And to be able to just sort of throw in the cables and then see how they're forming and then adjust your pattern to that, it's kind of like bringing out your inner designer, even if it's not, you know, you're not. Here, okay, clearly I cannot go backwards, so let me turn this around here. This is what, like where I'm making like a circle here, you can see in here and crossing the cables. So I find this, I'm a pattern girl. I have a very difficult time modifying patterns, changing patterns. I have to follow it like religiously. I don't deviate from the pattern. It's the same thing with the recipe, because if I start going rogue, it doesn't end well. I apologize for the lighting. It's late in the afternoon and I can't get downstairs to where my ring light is, so I'm subject to the natural light outside, and it's a little bit windy and the trees are throwing all kinds of shadows here, but we're just gonna have to make do. But anyway, this really does bring out sort of your own inner designer. You have to just let go of the feeling of following something and knowing how it's going to turn out, and just sort of throw caution to the wind. And I have to say, I was a little skeptical when I started, but I really am enjoying putting in the cables and sort of now going from having just thrown in cables where it looked like it needed one to sort of more, not designing something consistent, because that's not what I'm going for here, but kind of now seeing how the cables form and how they go, to sort of trying to make them create something when I get up to it, or just throwing in a cable. It works both ways. It really, really does. In this pattern, it really works both ways. And you learn a lot about placing cables and what they do to the fabric, how they look when you cross them, when you just cable one way, when you cable the other way. So I really see this as really a learning experiment. And again, if you have not seen, I will put a card up, and I'm not sure, I think the card goes up here. But in any case, I will put a card up, and I will put a link in the description box below to the tutorial I did on how to cable without a needle, because as I've made the progress on here, it's actually, even with these needles, it's gotten much, much simpler. I couldn't even imagine doing it with a cable needle, but then again, I don't use a cable needle, so that's one thing. So both a friend of mine and myself had a very similar issue, and actually, I'm just noticing, no, I'm on the wrong side. Okay, that's what I was going to show you. I did fix it on the right side, which I'm going to show you. I'm not going to take it down because this one is on the wrong side. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We were getting these lines going across the cable. And what that is that you're grabbing the stitches. If you're supposed to be taking them from the front, you're taking them from the back. It's accidentally crossing the cable incorrectly is what's causing this line right here. Let me see if I can hold that up. Right there, that line right there. And you can see that line is going in front of, I'm trying to focus on it, in front of the cable stitches instead of behind it. Now, because that's the wrong side, I'm not going to rip back and fix it. But we both had noticed we were having it happen occasionally from time to time on the right side. And we weren't sure because we were both pretty certain we were crossing our cables correctly, but from time to time we would see that line, like let's say here, just a line of yarn across the cable. So now what I do is when I cable on a row, the next row or two, I make sure I check to make sure that there's no line there. But I do want to show you what I used to fix it. Now, a regular crochet hook would work fine, but if you've never seen this tool before, this is definitely something worth having in your arsenal. It's called Fix-A-Stitch. Okay, that's the information right there, and I will link to it in the down bar below. There are two sizes. Well, actually, okay, there are two choices when you order Fix-A-Stitch. The original Fix-A-Stitch comes with 3 sizes of crochet hook. And what makes them different is that they have a hook on both sides. Now, that makes it particularly great if you happen to be doing garter stitch. And I will also link to the tutorial on how to use the Fix-A-Stitch and why it works so well, particularly on garter stitch, but it also works just as well on stockinette stitch, is because it grabs the stitch, but you don't have to take it off the crochet hook. You just slide it down to the other hook while you're going after the next stitch and laddering it back up. So if you don't have these, I would highly, highly, highly recommend using a Fix-A-Stitch just to have, really, because if you make a mistake and you need a crochet hook, or you drop down stitches, or you have to drop down stitches, these are invaluable for fixing mistakes or for ripping back if you want to just take down a few stitches and repair a mistake. The other size that these come in, it comes in a pack of 2 lace weight Fix-A-Stitch. I have them. I have not been brave enough yet to really drop down on a lace weight, especially if it's in lace. If it was a lace weight and I was in a stockinette section or a garter section or just a simple missing, knit two together, something like that, yeah, I would use it. But somehow or another, when I do lace, I just jump in with both feet, and yeah, I'm doing lace, double-sided lace, and at that point, yeah, you need your lace surgery. Boy, I am losing the light here. So anyhow, if in the next couple of days I have not sufficiently made progress to where I'm ready to take this off the needles and fold it together, I think what I'm going to do is put these stitches, when I have a little bit more length to this, I'm going to put these stitches on a holder, and then I will show how to, or we'll work together and follow the pattern and fold it so that those of you who are ready to put this together can see how to assemble the cowl, and you guys can finish. Hopefully, I am hoping to be there with you in the next couple of days. I'm really going to push ahead with this because I have another project that I am looking forward to casting on September 1st. I am going to be doing a knit along with Laura Nelkin, and it is for her pattern called Tasca. And what Tasca is, and I will insert a picture either here or here. Okay, somewhere up here, I'm going to put a picture of Tasca so you can see what it looks like. Tasca is a vest style garment. It comes in two different lengths. It comes in you can make it in a crop length, you can make it in a tunic length, you can also make it using sport or DK weight yarn, and she has a worsted weight version. Now you can buy each of those patterns separately, but Laura also has, and I believe the price is good until September 1st. For $20 you can buy the entire Tasca collection. And what that includes is Tasca for babies, Tasca for young children, and Tasca for kids. Okay, so it goes from newborn. I think the newborn size, that one doesn't have pockets in it because Tasca actually is Italian for pocket. So the vest has two pockets incorporated into the pattern on the sides. So that is my next project, but the other sizes, other than the, I believe, newborn size, I'm not sure if it's infant, newborn, whatever, but the other sizes in the baby size do have pockets. Then there are toddler sizes, there are children's sizes, and there are adult sizes, both in sport weight and in worsted weight. So I believe, like I said, it's $20 right now for the collection, and if I'm not mistaken, if I read it correctly, I believe that price is good until September 1st. That's when the knit along is going to start, and the goal is to have the knit along finished in time for virtual Rhinebeck, because that was going to be Laura's Rhinebeck sweater, but since Rhinebeck, unfortunately, is not going to take place in person this year, there is going to be a virtual Rhinebeck. And from the last time I checked on the website, I do believe they will have merchandise, you know, the t-shirts and that kind of thing. It's not available yet. My suggestion, if that's something that interests you, is to get on the New York Sheep and Wool website and sign up for their newsletter. That's the best way to get all of the information when the virtual will be taking place. Traditionally, New York Sheep and Wool is always the third full weekend in October. So I think you can pretty well set your calendars for that, because I'm sure it will be the same dates, but obviously it's going to be a different methodology, and I'm not sure of any of the particulars yet. But bringing me back to the Tasca, that's the goal for the sweater. So I have to get this cowl finished so that I can start my Tasca. I'm leaning toward doing the cropped version. I actually have a sweater's worth, and it was put away, and I just didn't have time to go digging for it to bring it out. Hopefully I'll have it out of its storage tubby that's tucked away so that I can show you next time. But I am doing it in Aaron Moore Light in the Ruari colorway, which is like a really deep, rich burgundy Merlot color. It's a very deep burgundy. So hopefully I'll have that out to show you next time, but I have a sweater's quantity of it, so I do have enough to do the tunic length. I'm just not too sure on myself on whether or not I'm gonna actually have the time or the dedication to actually knit the whole thing. Crop, yeah, I'm in for that. And I've done just a note, the pattern is done in Laura's Novus side-to-side construction, which I've done several times, but if you're not familiar with it, there will be videos, tutorials. There's so much information out there about that. And this is actually a really good one to start with because there are no sleeves on this one. It's basically a vest. It has garter stitch border around it. And what I really think is cool about it, it has a square neck. Hopefully you could tell from the picture that I put up, but it has a nice square neck. And I know that Laura had mentioned some of the testers were saying, because in these patterns, when you're knitting from side to side, your row gauge is actually more important than your stitch gauge. And the way, if your stitch gauge is off, you can compensate is just by adding some extra garter rows. If you feel that the neckline is too low, you can raise it up by just adding in a few more rows of garter stitch around the neck. So that's pretty much knitting wise what I've been up to. I know it's not a lot, but I did want to come on and just update on where I am on the cowl. And hopefully you will post some pictures either on our Facebook group, I will link that below, post them in our Ravelry group, post them on Instagram. Don't forget to put the hashtag for Cat Bordhi on them. And you can also put the hashtag KnitSense for Cat Cowl. Okay, so that way I will be sure to see the projects that you've done. So please post some pictures. If you have any questions, if you can, post pictures in the comment section below. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye.